You get 3 guests for a dream dinner party. It can be wrestling or non-wrestling, but you get 3 guests that you get to have a meal with and pick their brains. Who would you pick?
Oh man. So I mean, not that I don't love Marvel and all that, but obviously these people are acting and they're not, it's not really tangible, the things I can ask them compared to the other ones. So I'm gonna go full wrestling. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's go,
I'm
man.
gonna
That's so
go
good.
I'm gonna go Kevin Nash. I'm gonna go
Nice.
Kane, and I'm gonna go Undertaker.
Mate,
Those three,
that's
I
not going
feel
to be a
like
cheap bill.
no, it's not gonna be cheap, but I guarantee you the wealth of knowledge I walk out of with from that conversation, oh man, I would love to be, part of that.
Oh, I love that, man. Like honestly, man, I'd hate to be like the chef that night. Just, just
It's
like,
gonna be a lot because I eat. So
if you could pick their meals, what would you pick? And obviously for yourself, but you've got to be like the good host. What would you pick? One
oh
meal.
man, if I had to pick meals, I would figure they all like steaks, so can't go wrong with some steaks, mashed potatoes. I know Undertaker likes his Jack Daniels, so we'll all have a shot of that to the
Kevin
side,
Nash is big into his wine, actually. I've seen a few interviews he's done over the years, and he's just like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say anything. Kevin Nash would kick my ass.
Hey, if he wants to drink wine, he could drink wine.
That's it. That is it, man. If
That's
wants to
it.
drink wine, he's going to enjoy it. I'll get him one. But no, that's awesome, man.
I've actually set up shop a couple of times to run shows of my own, and usually around my hometown, very, very small town. But packing that tiny little bingo hall with 350 to 400 people to watch me in a ladder match with Bret Hart, of all people, as the special enforcer, that's up there for sure as one of my favorite all-time experiences.
Talk about it. I mean, what's Bret like? Bret is my hero. I've got an own heart tattoo.
Of course.
Tell me about Bret, please.
Amazing. As there was a massive winter storm that night. He still he got flown in. He made the drive with a couple other guys, and just him sitting in the locker room telling stories all night was just a sight to behold. But to share the ring with the guy, to introduce him, to have him there watching my match and kind of getting involved a little bit at the end, that's something I never thought in my wildest dreams would be possible. But then there it was. We did this phenomenal ladder match, me and Leo London. He's you can catch him on Twitter too. He's fairly active. But after the match, Bret pulled me aside and just had nothing but the nicest compliments to say about the match, the way we structured it.
How much did you mark out? How much, Cole?
Right? And what the interesting tidbit of that is, and I told him it flat out, was the inspiration behind the way we structured it and built it and told the story was actually modeled after his cage match he had had with Owen at SummerSlam '94. The smile on that man's face, because he loves Owen, and he tries to keep that memory alive so much. The smile on that guy's face when I said that, just made his night. Unbelievable experience. I would love to run into the guy again and get a little bit more time with him. Selfishly, I just had so much going on that night. But yeah, for the little time I had, he definitely made a lasting impression on me as a human being.
Awesome, man. I mean, I got a bit unlucky. I mean, I met Bret. I mean, like, I'm a fan. I try to meet many of the wrestlers I looked up to, but he wasn't like, he just seems a bit grumpy. I mean, he turned up like 4 hours late. I still waited, and Bret is still my favorite of all time. But
absolutely
decided. I mean, it's just when his book came out, probably the best wrestling book that's ever come out, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've read it, it's phenomenal. I mean, if the listeners out there haven't read it, go out your way. It might be cheap now. Buy it, read it. Let me know what you think. It's fucking brilliant. But you got to share that moment, replicate the match, and tell him, and it's so smart. I mean, no one can take that away from you, man.
No, 100%.
That's fucking awesome, man. I mean, if you could have a dream match, now we're just talking about Honky Tonk Man and Bret Hart, Kenny Omega. I mean, if you could pick one wrestler, past or present, we'll say dead or alive, but who could you pick? One person, dream match.
Person, I'm a Winnipeg boy, so I got to stick with Chris Jericho for the time being, and just the way he's not tied down to WWE anymore, that's a little bit of a possibility perhaps down the line. But yeah, he's somebody I looked up to as well growing up, just being from Winnipeg and then going to TV. It was like, wow, okay, that things can happen maybe.
Man, Canada just has such a huge influence on like wrestling, man. Still does, but I mean, like, I try, like, any time I can get Canadian wrestling on it, I just have to mention like Bret, and just to hear that. And obviously, best wishes to Jericho. He actually is in hospital at the moment in the UK.
Right.
I think it's like, I don't think it's too serious, but Jericho's a boy, so. with AEW, and I do want to mention it now because you've wrestled a few times there now, and that's last year, and you're going to be wrestling again. We know that. Spoiler. Sorry, joking. You wrestle like the Claimed. I absolutely love them. The Butcher and Too Fast to Free Go, who we won't mention, may or may not be Cody. I want to know, how was your experience there? To be that grand stage, like on such an early stage of your career.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not that far removed from just being a wrestling fan that, I did other sports and I was just a fan. So for me, I still get those feelings, you see a Chris Jericho, you see a CM Punk, he had come by the Nightmare Factory at once. And these situations, it's kind of like jarring. These are people you've looked up to. And so it does take you back, but everybody's been super professional. They introduce themselves to you and very welcoming. You never feel as though you're like walking on eggshells, I would say. So it's been, I can't ask for more when I go there. It's so fun. So I'm just hoping I get
good atmosphere.
Back.
Oh,
absolutely.
You are, man. I got to ask, man, like the Butcher, like working from one big man to another, how was that? Like to be in the ring with him, who just, I can imagine being a nice guy, but like, was it intense? I'm talking about in the ring, not outside, but
it's as intense as you see it, man. And that's something that, I was picking his brains one of the times I'd been down there before we had to work each other. And, he really was opening my eyes up to, the big man psychology and a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when I saw my name next to his, I was like, all right, it's time to go. And when you're in there, I mean, you saw it. He started before the bell even started. It was just, let's go. So, I mean, you know what you're signing up for with that. It's a fight and that's what it is. I mean, that's what we look for, right? So,
did you find yourself sort of smiling at the end of all of this? Like, all right, fair enough, he was victorious, but like, come on, like when you're earliest wrestling, like who is? And like some of the biggest names have started the same way you have. So, did you find yourself? This is awesome.
Absolutely, man. I'm telling you, the first time I went down and we worked the Acclaimed, right? And they're cutting that pre-match promo, and I was just trying so hard not to laugh because I'm like, this is awesome. Like at the same time, like I love wrestling and everything, and I'm in there to fight and all this, but at the same time, it's cool. So even at the end of the day, I haven't been as successful when I go down to AEW as I would want. But just the fact that I'm on that stage and I get to share it with all these great talents that they're at their peak. And there's no room for anybody to just go over there and put up a lackadaisical performance. And I find that amazing.
I was going to say, it's the fact that it's not just it's a one-off. You have been there more than once. You are representing QT and the Nightmare Factory, but yourself as well. And for you to be invited more than once, I mean, that says it all, really.
Yeah, it's been huge, man. And like I said, I'm just hoping to go back there and hopefully have some more success in the future.
Definitely.
But as I said, I'm not complacent at all, but every time I've left, it's just one of those things that, as you would expect to feel, you're just like, wow, I just did that. That is amazing. It's beyond your wildest dreams and thoughts to even go on that stage when you first start out. So to actually even see that, to me, was huge.
That's sick, man.
But the biggest first moment where people actually kind of realized, like, oh, okay, there's something going on here with Jay doing this stuff, was, I believe it was like my 5th match. It was against WWE Hall of Famer now, the Honky Tonk Man.
Yes.
My entire family came out, cousins and stuff that, used to watch me wrestle in the backyard as a kid, and the entire staff I was working with at my other job. Everyone just sort of poured out. It was this crazy showing of support. It was awesome. It made the night that much better for me.
Please, let's discuss Honky Tonk Man. Rizzo smiling. He was one of the first wrestlers I ever met, and I was 11. Came to Essex. I live in Essex, right outside London, and he came to like a comic book shop to do a signing. He's with Jake Slater when Jake was beyond the map. Jake, not the best way. So if anyone hadn't seen it, what I'm talking about, go watch it, and you'll know exactly what I mean. He's better now, which is good, but Jake. Smart booze. Honky Tonk Man, fantastic. Loved him. He was doing Ozzy Osbourne impressions and ripping Jerry Lawler. I'm like 11-year-old kid. He's a hero to me. But you actually got to wrestle him. You grew up watching him. How was he in the ring and outside the ring?
A sweetheart. You hear stories or you see shoot interviews and you kind of get nervous about the personality, but to be honest with you, I couldn't have asked for a better experience. I broke the news that it was my 5th match, I think, right before we were about to step through the curtain, so that he was kind of taken aback at that, and the challenge I had for him. but he took such good care of me when we structured this amazing match, and the crowd just really was behind it at a whole nother level. The match was amazing. It's totally off the hook. After the fact too, we were doing tours with him semi-regularly, and he really took me under his wing and gave me a lot of advice that I don't think most guys were getting at the time. It was really a great learning experience that early in my career. And actually, just to give you a little cool tidbit, I still have the guitar. I didn't plan this, I swear. I don't know if you can see it with the green screen. I still have the guitar. It's dated.
That's fucking awesome, man. That's
what's
awesome.
Left of the guitar, anyways.
Oh man,
great highlight.
More than family and friends, like anything they're giving you. This, the Honky Tonk Man's guitar, is more important than you guys. Honestly, man, it makes me smile because I know he does get a bad rep and he does say a lot of stupid shit, but he's honestly probably like one of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time. What he did with it, he elevated the title. I know like a lot of DQ wins, but honestly, he is a Hall of Famer.
100%.
And the fact that he got to go in, but I mean, when's the last time you spoke to Honky Tonk Man?
It's been a few years. I mean, he's been off the road for a while now, right? He's slowly transitioned outside of the ring. It's unfortunate because I always loved having him by my side, whether it's in the ring or, you know, backstage or on the road. It was great, even just to hear some of the old stories. You really cherish memories like that.
A lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember, what match was it? It was like 2001, Jake the Snake and Honky Tonk Man in a match in like it was like a kind of a gym thing. It was horrendous, but Honky Tonk Man just literally had to kill time because Jake was the best, and it was great, man. So to hear that you've got the guitar there, Honky was great to you. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.